straight ahead on OC News. A UC campus is dealing with students being attacked. This time, the incident occurred at UC Merced. With the starring of 4 students, we have all the details and reactions of our students, and then the city partners with Cal State Fullerton to help low income with vaccinations.
Cal State Fullerton staff voted to possibly strike due to wage increases. Dispute. Next week, we will have the honoring our vets.
Is the heat finally cooling off just in time for winter? Coming up, I'll have your full forecast.
On the left here saying that ISIS has taken credit for breaking down. Go fast, a little bit faster. Yeah. Welcome to the OC News. I'm Jasmine Sahagan.
And I'm Cozy Johnson. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton.
I'm in a developing story out in Merced, where a male student at University of California, Merced, stabbed 4 people on campus as classes began this morning and was later fatally shot by campus police. Among the injured were 2 students, 1 staff member, and an on-campus construction worker. 2 of those stabbed were transported for treatment via helicopter. The school said on Twitter, while the 2 others were treated on campus, all victims are expected to survive. No details were immediately available on what relationship, if any, existed between the assailant and the victims. The stabbing occurred about 8 a.m. as morning classes were beginning. The victims were attacked in front of the classroom and office building near the center of campus and spread outside the building before officers on a pedestrian bridge connecting the campus's 2 halves killed the suspect.
As attacks like this are occurring more often on college campuses across the U.S., the question students are asking themselves is my campus really safe? Stephanie Ortegas went out and asked students how safe they really feel on campus.
After the incident that occurred early this morning at UC Merced, students at Cal State Fullerton shared their opinion on how safe they feel on campus after so many shootings and stabbings have happened across the nation.
I feel pretty safe on campus. I usually hang out in the center of school, so they'd have to work their way in to get to me. But other than that, I feel pretty safe here. Security, we have cops, we have everything around us, so I think I feel pretty decently safe. I'm in a classroom. They have certain procedures, but if it comes to that, probably just hit the floor. I don't really know what else you can do or how much you can prepare for a situation like that. But if it happens, best of luck to everyone. But stuff happens,
I feel safe on campus. So far, I've been here 4 years. Nothing's really happened that makes me feel unsafe. It's a pretty big campus, so if something were to happen, I'm pretty sure I'd find out about it real quick or hear about it and be able to get away from it. So I feel pretty safe on campus. Classrooms are a little bit different. I've given some thought about that, like what I would do in a classroom situation. And I honestly don't know. I guess it would just depend on where they hit first. Like if they're in the classroom and my door is to the back, then that would suck. But if it's another classroom, we'd have a chance to hear it and maybe hopefully get out.
Regardless of if you feel safe on campus or not, it's always important to be aware of your surroundings and report any suspicious activities. For OC News, this is Stephanie Orozco.
Members of California Faculty Association announced they approved a strike for a 5% salary increase. The 94% of CFA members voted to authorize a strike against the Long Beach-based CSUF system, tentatively to March early January. They argue that the Chancellor's office has failed to include key factors in the assessment of CSU faculty salaries, such as raising inflation and a lack of recognition in their work.
The teachers here at Cal State Fullerton make up just a small minority of the 94% vote from teachers of the CFA to authorize a possible strike in the near coming future. The strike takes place over salary negotiations, but as president of the CFA, John Engel, said, it's not a bread and butter issue, it's more than just that. Unfortunately, we can't speak with teachers on the issue as they are prohibited to talk, but the issue is heating up and leaves a lot of questions on for students and university staff. Let's talk to some students around campus to see what they think about the possible strike. What was your first reaction when you heard about the CFA vote and possible teacher strike?
My first reaction was, what is the university or whoever is in charge of the finances of the university, how are they using the money? Perhaps if they use the money a little more wisely, perhaps they can increase the salary of the teachers. But the real question, as I said before, how is the money being used that the university receives? How is it being used to, I guess, to sustain the university? I guess. Yeah.
Great. What was your name?
Andrew.
When I say the number 94% of teachers approved a possible strike for the CFA to initiate, do you feel when I say that the teachers are getting compensated well enough from the universities?
I feel that teachers aren't getting compensated well enough. If 94% of teachers agree with this, it must mean that something is unfair. And that's why they want to go on the strike, to prove something that, like we're going to stand together until we get compensated right. Because 94%, imagine if 94% of teachers actually did go on strike. What would that mean for the university? There would really be a university without the professors, I would say. So I think that they're not fairly compensated.
So after hearing the news of the recent possible teacher strike, what level of uncertainty do you have? How do you feel as a student going next semester, possibly no teachers?
I'm very nervous because not having a teachers, we're paying to be here. We're paying to be educated by these teachers, and having them go on strike would make us unsure of an actual education that we're paying for, and we need this. We're trying to get jobs in the future in life, and not having the teachers here would be very unbeneficial to us, and it'd be very hard to actually be successful.
As we heard from our students, reaction was in pretty favor of the teachers regarding the possible strike and the CFA. After all, the teachers are the ones that educate us and put us on our way to success. Reporting here from the Cal State Fullerton campus, I'm Andrew Fortuna for OC News. Back to you guys.
Fullerton residents will now have long-term access to comprehensive prevention and treatment services for families at the Richmond Neighborhood Center. The Fullerton City Council approved a memorandum between the city's parks and Cal State Fullerton, handing the center to CSUF's Center for Healthy Neighborhoods project. This project will offer low-income health services starting early January.
Our reporter, Miranda Gutierrez, has a special coverage for us on the Day of the Dead celebration.
The traditional Day of the Dead might be over, but students from CASA at Cal State Fullerton are continuing the celebrations at the university. But what is the Day of the Dead? Hi guys, so I'm right next to Mariano, who is this year's co-chair of CASA. So tell me, Mariano, what is this? What is the altar, and what does the Day of the Dead represent, and what does it mean?
What Day of the Dead is, it's a celebration of not just death, but life of our loved ones, or anybody that has passed away, that we have a personal connection to. And that is our way to offer them their bread, their food, their elements, and have them walk through the realms of the spirit life and what realm we live in now.
Okay, and what does each thing on the altar mean? I see candles, I see flowers, I see food, and I see pictures. What do those mean?
So all these, on the altar, all these candles, flowers, salt, water, everything on there. So it's four elements of fire, wind, water, and earth. The salt being earth, also with the flowers, the marigolds, and the candles having the fire, with the wind being the source for the fire. And it just represents everything, the unity of every element in the world, and brings it all together to this altar, and it spiritually connects them to this altar. And in the pan that we have, it's used as our offering to them. Same with the water, it quenches their thirst. So their spirits are walking through this altar. They eat, and they drink.
Well, everyone, we just learned a little bit about what Day of the Dead is. So next year, when November 1st and 2nd rolls around, make sure to honor your loved ones with an altar. For OC News, I'm Mariana Gutierrez.
Starting Monday, November 9th, Cal State Fullerton Veterans Resource Center will celebrate Veterans Week every day with a special event to commemorate their heroic role for our country. Starting off the festivities is a flag-raising ceremony by the Langsdorff Fountain at 9 a.m., followed by events throughout the week, and concluding with a campus competitive flag football game between the vets and the cadets.
Titan Walk Wednesday helps to spread awareness of campus organizations. Reporter Troy Berzmaz has the story.
It's Titan Walk Wednesday. here at Cal State Fullerton, which means all the different clubs and organizations have a chance to spread awareness about their different groups, and students get to see what else is going on here. We're going to take a look around here at the Titan Walk and find out what organizations are being supported.
For my club, we are SPICA, which stands for South Pacific Islander Culture Association, and the main focus of our club is to promote Pacific Islander identity and celebrate it through creating friendships, mentoring, volunteer opportunities, and also cultural activities such as guest speakers, cultural nights, and also just creating like this familial bond, which is really common in South Pacific Islander cultures. And we want to give a sense of community and family to the students at Cal State Fullerton, whether they are Pacific Islander or not.
This is Alpha Chi Omega. It's our sorority. Right now we're tabling to bring awareness about domestic violence. That's our national philanthropy. And we're raising money from all the fraternities for our Mr. Alpha Chi pageant, which we have every year.
Now that we found out what's going on here at the Titan Walk, let's get back to you in the studio. This is Troy Bermudez reporting. Back to you.
Coming up, a bomb might be what brought down a Russian airliner, and we look at a long-awaited weather change.
Titan TV is a student-operated facility maintained by students.
It's on the Cal State Fullerton campus, and it's a great opportunity for Cal State Fullerton students to get hands-on experience directly in a studio environment.
Working with Titan TV puts me in this professional environment. Everyone here is really fun to work with, and everyone just gets along so well. I'm having a great time.
Titan Radio is Cal State Fullerton's own radio station located in the basement of Pollock Library. Students can stop by and pick up an application during operating hours. Anyone who has a computer and internet can listen to us at www.titanradio.org. A lot of people who want to pursue TV and film usually start out in radio, so it's always a great opportunity.
The cause of a devastating Russian plane crash may have been found, and the tragic death haunts civilians on Halloween. Here's Emily Barnells with more.
The latest U.S. intelligence indicates it was most likely a bomb that brought down the Russian airliner, killing all 224 persons on board. A U.S. official is saying there is a definite feeling it was an explosive device planted in luggage or somewhere on the plane. This is not a definitive conclusion, but it is an assessment by the U.S. government. They believe the most likely perpetrators may have been ISIS or an ISIS affiliate. They are monitoring internal ISIS messages, separate from public claims of responsibility, that in part are helping them come to this assessment. Now governments around the world are reacting. The British and Irish governments are suspending flights back and forth to the airport the plane took off from, Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, until they are assured that the airport is secure. The Egyptians say it's safe, but there is a British aviation team on the way there to have a first-hand look. Part of the U.S. assessment is that a bomb was most likely placed in either the passenger compartment or brought on board. It was perhaps put in the cargo hold somewhere on the airplane. It indicates a potential disastrous failure of security at the airport. Moving on to national news, in Salt Lake City, Utah, a devastating loss haunts civilians on Halloween. She was just 14 years old, out for fun, trick-or-treating with her friends on Halloween. Loved ones are remembering Victoria Hillman, who died after being struck while crossing the street Saturday night. A van driven by a woman, police say, has been cooperating with the investigation. The woman hit Hillman just after 7 o'clock as she started to make her way across the road near 59th South. Police say Hillman was wearing some sort of a costume and may have been hard to see. No charges have been filed, but police say their investigation, now handed over to the West Valley Police Department, will take several days. Family members have set up a GoFundMe account to help cover funeral expenses with any extra going towards charities that, quote, suit Victoria's life. It reads that heaven gained an angel on October 31st. A devastating blow to all those who knew her, describing the Brennan Junior High School student as the life of the party, daddy's little girl, and mommy's best friend. Back to you.
Thank you. October is coming to an end and fall is here. Let's see if the weather is ready to start acting like fall. Here's Michelle Andrews with this week's forecast.
Thanks, guys. Yes. Thankfully, the weather is starting to cool down just in time for winter. As you could see, we have dropped today to 69 degrees, which is a very nice relief from the high 80s and low 90s we were seeing. And tonight it's going to even drop even cooler to 46 degrees. So you are going to want to make sure you snuggle up in like a nice blanket or a jacket or something because it will get chilly. Currently, we are experiencing winds of 10 miles per hour and humidity of 29%. Tonight, the sun will set at 4:56 because we did fall back in time recently, so we got an extra hour of sleep, which is really great. Now, for the week, we go ahead and we're going to see temperatures continue to go ahead and be low. We have 70, low 50s and high 40s throughout the night. And during the day, it is high 70s or mid 70s, high 60s with a couple spikes on Friday and Saturday with low 80s. So that will be a little bit warm, but overall we are seeing a total decrease in the temperature, which is really nice to get some relief from this heat wave we've been having. As for national weather, you could see the cool weather is starting to make its way down into states, and hopefully it will continue to do so. Coming out to the middle of the states here, it is still pretty warm. It's not as warm as it used to be, so temperatures are continuing to drop. As for the East Coast in New York, it was snowing last week, and we could still see that it is pretty chilly over there. So as you can see, weather is dropping, which I'm pretty glad because it's been way too hot. What do you guys think?
I like the red cups coming out of Starbucks, all the hot chocolate, so I'm ready.
I'm missing my shorts and tank top already. But thank you, Michelle. A social media icon has made a confession about the obvious, and a tweet has been sent out.
We have Danielle Cushman with all your information on that.
It's pumpkin chunking time. Again at Cal State Fullerton, where a field of students and community teams compete using giant catapults and other handcrafted launchings to hurl the gourds at targets, racking up points and vying to be the winner. The College of Engineering and Computer Science hosted Pumpkin Launch is set for 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday, November 7th on the athletic fields north of the Titan Gym. The free family event is held in partnership with the Discovery Cube, OCLA, and Future Scientists Engineers of America. Well, Twitter is tweaking its social media site. The social media giant gave the star icon and favorite action the boot. Twitter replaced the star with a heart and renamed the favorite as a like. The design changes are part of Twitter's move to make itself easier to understand and use for newbies. The social media giant has struggled to win over new users in recent years, but many fans are asking Twitter to ask for some changes. Some users are asking for Twitter to bring back the stars and favorites. And other social media news, a teenager with more than 500,000 followers on Instagram is quitting social media, claiming it's not real. In a series post, she updates the captions on her images to explain how they were contrived to show how she liked to pretend to like the products and brands. So what could this mean for hundreds and thousands of teenage followers? CNN's Linda Kincaid explains.
Social media validation is about the number of likes you get when posting an image or video. For 18-year-old Asina O'Neill, it became an obsession.
I had the dream life. I had 500,000 people interested in me on social media, on Instagram, I had over 100,000 views on most of my videos on YouTube. To a lot of people, I made it. I still am technically signed with, and I don't want to model at all anymore, but I am signed with one of the biggest agencies in Australia. I had one of the biggest agencies in America want to sign me for modeling and for my YouTube. And I want to tell you that having it all on social media means absolutely nothing to your real life.
The Australian teenager reveals just how contrived in a YouTube confession.
So everything I did was for views, for likes.
To her more than 500,000 followers on Instagram, O'Neill revealed the truth. that the touched-up, enhanced photos of her social media life are far from real. She writes, spray tan, paid promotional tee, barely any clothes. I was 15. This is what I thought was inspiring. On this image, I had acne here. This is a lot of makeup. And here, not real life, took over 100 in similar poses trying to make my stomach look good, would have hardly eaten that day, would have yelled at my little sister to keep taking them until I was somewhat proud of this. And on this one, was paid $400 to post this dress.
The social media, which is now a business. If you don't think it's a business, you're deluding yourself.
She claimed her fixation was prompted by insecurity, not confidence.
Everything I did in a day was to be that perfect person online.
The teenage confession received a lot of support on Twitter. Cara wrote, I never paid attention to Asina O'Neill, but I really admire her bravery and honesty now. Lindsay pointed out the irony. Asina O'Neill, social media isn't real, please stop worshipping me. She responded, worships her even more. And a few were skeptical. Amy wrote, I feel like in 10 years she's going to watch that back and perhaps wished she hadn't posted that video. O'Neill followed by posting this image. Confidence is not, they will like me. Confidence is, I'll be fine if they don't. Linda Kincaid, CNN.
Social media not real? Who knew? Cozy and Jasmine, back to you.
Now let's go to Madison, who has the latest on news about the Chipotle closure and research on soda.
That's right. Chipotle has closed dozens of stores in Oregon and Washington after an E. coli scare. Cases are being investigated in connection with 6 locations in Seattle and the Portland areas. No deaths have been reported so far, but several people have been hospitalized. For a couple in Portland, the last few days have been a real nightmare. Corey Marshall reports.
Chris and Kelly Collins don't eat out a lot, but when they do, they choose Chipotle because of its ethics and high-quality ingredients. It's what makes their ordeal this last week so disappointing.
I know we're never going to eat there again after this. This was just a horrible experience.
Oh, this was more than just food poisoning. This was, a potentially life-threatening exposure.
Friday, October 23rd, they dine at a Chipotle. By Sunday, Chris starts to feel sick. By Thursday, urgent care sends him to the ER, and Saturday, the hospital confirms he has the E. coli strain linked to illnesses in 24 other Chipotle customers.
I've never seen anybody as sick as how sick he was.
Chris is frustrated learning the first E. coli cases occurred a full 8 days before he ate at Chipotle. He's also not pleased with how certain locations handled such a serious outbreak.
Each store had different signs up for why they were closing because of mechanical issues or stuff. And one of them I saw had a really snarky sign that was like, oh, don't worry, the world will be in balance. We'll be opening up soon again. And it just feels really insensitive to what people are going through.
Moving on, it's time to put down that soda. New research has revealed yet another reason to cut down on soda. It might contribute to heart failure. Jennifer Whalen explains in today's Health Minute.
It's no secret that drinking too many sugary soft drinks can lead to weight gain, tooth decay, and other health problems. Now there's more bad news for soda sippers. A new study in the British Medical Journal says men who drank just 2 sweetened drinks per day had a 23% higher risk of going into heart failure. Researchers came to that conclusion by monitoring the food habits of 42,000 Swedish men. Heart failure happens when your heart isn't strong enough to pump enough blood and oxygen to support your body. The researchers warned they only studied men between the ages of 45 and 79, so the findings may not apply to younger age groups or to women. According to a study in the journal Circulation, sugary drinks may be linked to an estimated 184,000 adult deaths each year worldwide. Health experts recommend limiting your soda intake by switching to water, seltzer, or unsweetened tea. For today's Health Minute, I'm Jennifer Whalen.
Holidays are upon us, and with them comes stress. But there are ways to relieve some of that stress with physical tension. We have the details in today's Health Minute.
We're going to start first with the breath, and the reason we're going to do that is that's the most direct way to interrupt stress.
For more than 30 years, Dennis Buttermer has worked as a mind and body coach, helping people manage their tension. That stress usually creeps up higher than usual during the holidays. with shopping, traveling, and family gatherings. But Dennis has some ways to keep that stress level to a minimum. First, just breathe.
What we're going to do is a yogic breath. So we're going to inhale through the nose, and we're going to fill up our stomach like a balloon, and then let your chest rise up. And on the exhale, you just squeeze the stomach gently.
Then, create a relaxation response.
I'm going to ask you to either tap alternately on the outsides of your shoulders, or with your index fingers just alternately tapping on the outsides of your knees. And now imagine a source of this holiday stress for you. It could be pressures, expectations, could even be grief. But when you tap the right side, it's actually tapping more so on the left side of the brain and vice versa. So it's hard to hold that upset state that you're in.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfur.
And that wraps up today's Health Minute. I'm Madison Salter. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Madison. We're going to go ahead and do on a commercial break, and when we come back, we have Andrew with a package on the LGBT community here at Cal State Fullerton.
It's what powers our journey to reach unimaginable heights. It fosters a sense of yearning to create, explore, and soar. It strengthens our will to climb to the top. It's the bedrock of our conviction that nothing's impossible. It transforms us and sets us free to thrive and build lives of purpose. Titan pride is at the heart of who we are.
Let's go and take a look at one of the most important resources for students on campus, the LGBT Resource Center.
On the second floor of the Titan Student Union, there's a building less than a fourth of the size of a classroom. That building being the LGBTQ Resource Center for students. A lot of faculty and students do not even know about this center, but for many students that come here, they call it home. Students like Kay, Brandon, and Molly use the space to do homework, hang out, and talk. The atmosphere is warming and welcoming, which make it so attractive for students looking to be accepted and, more importantly, not judged. What does the LGBTQ Resource Center mean to you?
I would say to me it means it's a good chance for students over time, I've seen it over time, just to be able to be a place for students to come in and kind of utilize us, right? In two senses mostly. So in a sense, we're a welcome center, which means that if students need a place to go in between their classes, or if they need, or if they have lunch and they want to come in here and just hang out in between classes or study for exams, we definitely would love to be that space for them. If they want to catch up on the latest RuPaul episodes, if they want to have just a catch up with any media or television shows too, they can come to us. We also are a resource center, like it's in our name. So for the resource center aspect, we usually have a bunch of liaisons with different organizations here on campus, such as our counseling and psychological services, our police station as well, our on-campus police station, even services throughout Orange County, LA, Inland Empire, San Bernardino County. So we do have connections kind of varying all throughout different locations. Just kind of be able to help serve students in regard for whatever it is.
Awareness and support banners cover the walls, reminding the message of to have pride in who you are.
Like recently, some of our student assistants here, they've actually taken the initiative to develop an A-spectrum group, and so that pretty much for people who identify in as asexual or as ace, it's kind of just providing more presence here on campus for students who identify in different groups.
Seems like everyone here, the moment I walked in, everyone's so close. It feels like home. Can you describe that a little bit for me?
Yeah, sure. That kind of goes back to everybody utilizing the space as a welcome center. We're really closely affiliated with a lot of different groups and organizations here on campus, such as Queer Straight Alliance, known as QSA, or QPOC, which is the Queer People of Color Collective. And so we kind of we frequent those groups a lot, and those people, the ones who are active in there, hang out in here in the meantime when there's not meetings or if they have like downtime in between their classes, because this is a place where they've just found comfort on campus. We do have many different cultural resource centers here on campus, and we serve particularly to those interested in learning more about the LGBTQ community or those who identify in the community as well or are questioning.
I've been around campus. Obviously, the parking lot is the place to be. I've seen stickers for the LGBTQ Resource Center and how to get involved. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So we actually have a program called Safe Space Training. So with Safe Space Training, that's going through kind of like, I guess you could say, a crash course or an informational session about issues regarding the queer community. So sometimes it'll just be a general broad overview about the queer community, and sometimes it'll also be more in-depth topics. So those in-depth topics will be like Safe Space Advanced Training. You could go ahead and sign up for those on our website, and we do have different sessions all throughout the remainder of the semester too. So we're willing to accommodate to students.
As we leave the LGBT Resource Center for the last time, golden rules hang on the walls, reminding students of steps they can take to make their lives easier.
Let's take it over to Serena to find out what's next for J.K. Rowling and Jon Stewart and hear how Robin Williams' widow broke her silence.
Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling says she's working on a new children's book. Rowling tells the BBC that she's written part of a children's book that she really loves. She's also promoting her latest adult novel, Career of Evil. Rowling is working on a stage show called Harry Potter and the Cursed Child that's set to premiere in London next summer. But if that's not enough Rowling for her diehard fans, a movie based on her book Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them will be released next year. In other news, it only took Jon Stewart 3 months to figure out what's next for his career. Former host of The Daily Show inked a 4-year production deal with HBO. According to the network, Stewart will begin producing short-form digital content, which will showcase on several of HBO's streaming platforms. Stewart is the latest big name HBO has landed as it ramps up efforts to generate more content and bring in more sales for HBO Now. The wife of late comedian Robin Williams is speaking out for the first time since his death. Susan Williams was on Good Morning America describing the day before Robin Williams took his own life.
It was a perfect day. We just did what we love to do together. And I know now that he gave me that perfect day. He gave us that perfect day.
He planned it.
In hindsight, he knew what he was doing.
Susan Williams says despite what most people think, her husband's struggles with alcohol, drug addiction, and depression did not play a role in his death. She says what drove her husband to suicide was his battle with Lewy body dementia, which affects memory, movement, and mood. Catch us next week for the latest in entertainment news. I'm Serene Gettler. Back to you guys.
The Cal State Fullerton Arboretum offers more to students than a beautiful space to relax. Reporter Sarah Roberts tells us more.
Today we are on the campus of Cal State University Fullerton at the Arboretum Grand Door exhibit. We spoke with faculty and students who shared more with us. The Arboretum Grand Door exhibit opened to a private showing to kick off this year's fall collaboration at the Orange County Agricultural and Nikkei Heritage Museum at the California State University Fullerton Arboretum. Students of Professor Yoon 310 class showcased their one-of-a-kind botanical landscape watercolor pieces. While celebrating with family and friends, exhibit attendees enjoyed a serene environment to share and commemorate this semester's fine art exhibit. Student artist Ruben Delgadillo told us what inspired his creativity here at the Arboretum.
I actually work here at the Arboretum. I'm a student assistant, so I'm here for like the last 2 years, and the sun was kind of coming down. It was a hot and cloudy day, and this was really nice seeing where there was like the light shining on the Heritage House, and everything else was in dark. So I kind of wanted to have the focus be the house. And it's really nice just being here during those times of the day where everything is quiet. You can actually enjoy the place. It's really nice. So,
Harriet Boldine, development manager for the Arboretum, told us more about the Grand Door art collaboration.
The Orange County Agricultural and Nikkei Heritage Museum, which is the name of this museum here at the Arboretum, it opened in 2006. We want to bring exhibitions in here that not only highlight the Arboretum, but also celebrate the agricultural roots of this area. So we bring traveling exhibitions in that have themes of agriculture, sustainability, history, and then we often combine them with Professor Yoon's watercolor class if they have a like theme. And we felt that the grandeur of the Sacramento River Delta was a nice collaboration to celebrate the grandeur of Fullerton Arboretum.
Professor Lawrence T. Yoon talks to us about the student benefits of the exhibit.
This is a class production, so that means it's everyone. It's inclusive exhibition, not a juried exhibition. So that means everyone will be featured. I found it is very important for students' growth because everybody wanted to be a part of the, the professional practice. So this is the one way for them to experience that before they graduate.
So I think having this kind of exhibit for the students where we can show it and it gives us an incentive to do it because yes, it's a project, but then it's also you get to display it and have that kind of pride in your work that you don't really get a lot of options to in other classes, which is really nice. And then suddenly you're in a rainforest. It's completely crazy, but it's also really cool at the same time. So I think definitely people should try to make a visit here sometime during the semester, or even if they're not in class, do it on a weekend because it's amazing seeing all the different flora here.
There are always so many events here at the Arboretum. For a full list of schedules and events, please visit the fullertonarboretum.org. This is Sarah Roberts reporting for OC News.
That's all for us today at OC News. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under OC News. CSUF.
Have a great evening.